The recent high-profile suicide deaths of designer Kate Spade and chef Anthony Bourdain has elevated the country's awareness and conversation about mental illness and suicide prevention.
And quickly becoming one of the nation's leading advocates in this area is a man from Los Angeles who has deep roots in the mid-Michigan city of Charlotte and deep ties to the subject of suicide.
This would be covered with books. And it was all doctor-related.
Meet Eric Zink. The 37-year-old paid a visit to his childhood home in Charlotte recently to help his mother pack up a lifetime of memories for her move to Florida. Unlike his mother, Eric wanted to publicly unpack a lifetime of secrets.
With my family, it was real big on, we don't want anyone to know right away because, you know, it's mental illness. We don't talk about that.
In small-town Charlotte, where everybody knows everybody, the Zinks were known more than most because of the family patriarch, Dr. Barrett Zink.
Anybody that saw him, I mean, he would stop on the street if you were one of his patients and you said, "Hi, Dr. Zink," and he'd sit there and start talking to you.
What they didn't know is that Dr. Zink battled depression for most of his life. Eric says his dad dealt with it by secluding himself in his home office to read, write, and reflect on why he was a doctor.
For whatever reason, growing up, I could find stethoscopes, anything doctor-related in here.
Eric says if his dad wasn't in the office, he was in the garage out back, filling his mind and spare time with obsessions like remote control helicopters and drag racing motorcycles.
You can't have one helmet. You have to have a lot of helmets.
But there was no helmet strong enough to protect Eric from the phone call he got from his brother a year ago, this August 13th.
And he goes, "You know, I just want you to know that Dad passed away."
Eric says he instantly thought heart attack because of the stress his 65-year-old dad was under planning for his upcoming retirement.
And so I was like, "So do you know what happened?" And he goes, "Well, he took his own life." And that's all we know.
And Eric Zink was no stranger to this type of tragedy. 2 years to the month before his father took his own life, Eric's wife committed suicide while the two were ending a marriage, drowning in alcohol addiction.
But then when everybody found out about like my dad taking his life and found out even when my wife did.
Hi, I'm Eric with Driven Industries.
On his website and on social media, Eric engages with hundreds of people across the country through an organization he formed called Driven Industries, kind of a suicide hotline alternative, bringing people together to talk about suicide, mental illness, and addiction.
I've found all of a sudden if I reached out to people, they just wanted someone to talk to and tell their story to and get it off their chest and do a lot of healing that way, where it was like, wow, somebody's actually listening to me. They understand, and I'm not alone. I'm not going through this by myself.
Whether on social media or in person.
And that's what I wanted to do. And so that's what I've created here.
Eric is armed with a conversation starter. This semicolon tattoo is his mission statement.
Instead of ending a sentence with a period, you can continue on with a semicolon, just like your life, and your story isn't over yet.
It's also important to mention that Eric Zink is just days away from celebrating 1 year of sobriety, a journey he began 3 weeks before his dad committed suicide. He has also made Driven Industries a resource for people who are struggling with addiction.